Welcome to Three Dads in a Pod, where three friends who are so good at being dads decided to make a podcast about it. Please be advised, by listening, you may need to remind yourself not to hate them for being this awesome. Now grab a drink, pull up a chair, and don't listen to anything they say because they're idiots. Here's your hosts, Will, Wes, and Colin.
Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to Three Dads in a Pod. We're going to talk about our life when we bring the babies home and all of the changes that come with it. I think, as you can imagine, it's a stark difference than living at the house pre-baby. A lot of good, a lot of bad, a lot of adjusting, and a lot of good stories. So today we're going to be diving into that. I guess we could start with the stress of the car ride home. Maybe the first time putting the baby in the car seat when you don't know what you're doing and your wife is still, open, if you could say the word, so it's tough, you're wheeling her out. But how was that for you guys? Do you remember that? Were you flustered trying to get in the car, like, holy shit, like, and now they valet our car up and they're like, all right, like, yeah.
That
Have
is
a good one.
That is such a weird feeling to go from, you feel like you can't do anything without the nurses and all the medical staff checking up and providing all these different things for you and kind of assisting you through that process, even to the car itself. And then the moment that the door shuts, it's just like, all right, you're on your own. Good luck. That is a weird feeling. I remember Leah and I actually joking about that. I think on our way home from the hospital, we were talking about, like, we're going to figure this out. Like, there's no going back. I also remember, even at the hospital, I don't know if you guys felt this way, but I was so afraid of, like, every movement, holding Margot as gently as I possibly could, constantly feeling like any like quick jolt was going to hurt her, or just being so delicate with moving her arms into things, or just feeling like I'm gonna, like, drop this baby or hurt my baby if I don't hold her like a certain way. And then fast forward 6 months later, just like tossing them around and moving them like it's nothing.
Babies are so durable.
Yeah, car ride home I wouldn't say it was stressful. It was just this weird mindset shift, and going from having all this support at the hospital to then truthfully being on your own. What about you, Colin?
Yeah, I distinctly remember getting in the car because I was driving. I assume you guys both drove the car home, right? So I'm sure
We'll
you
probably have like I don't know, chauffeur or something like that. But
that's true. Yeah, I think him and Aaron rented a Tesla, self-driving, bring him home.
That was for the wedding, dude.
No, I remember driving home, and I don't think that it was quite the level of the first time I ever got in a car by myself after having my license, but it was pretty close to that level of, I guess, call it anxiety in the car going home. I was so timid just pulling out of the hospital parking lot, knowing.
Oh, like driving.
Yeah, like drive. Like
yeah,
that
is true.
While I was driving, I was like, "Oh my gosh, I have this fresh baby right behind me that I'm now responsible for," and it was the most defensive I've ever felt driving.
That's the only time I've actually stopped at every stop sign.
Yeah.
And like stopped when you turn right on red, not rolling through it, like,
which is a lot for you. Will is the most reckless. Not you're not a bad driver. You're a very good driver, but you're not a law-abiding citizen behind the wheel.
Yeah. I feel like it's because I've always driven a lot. And my mom, she had her fed car training, so she would drive fast, but like good. So when I started traveling, when going to Lakeland, I would always drive home. So 3.5 hours home. I'm driving long distance for Aaron and then for work. So I'm just driving all the time. I'm just very comfortable. So I drive aggressive because I'm like, if you drive defense, it's like football. If you're trying not to get hit, you're going to get killed. So I'm trying to hit everybody because I'll be damned, dude. If I'm in an accident, I'm the hammer. But Aaron always is like, you didn't put your blinker on, and I'm like, the
No,
road
you're like,
road isn't for the other people.
you're a good driver. You're a very good driver, and you are actually a safe driver. But I think the thing that is like that's scary about you is that when you get an idea, you don't second guess it. You just like you are very decisive, and if that means driving in the median for to pass 7 cars, then so be it. You just make up your mind and go for it.
I did do that a lot, but in Orlando, when my exit would be like 1.5 miles and it's bumper to bumper. Yeah, I'm driving through the grass median to get to the other exit to go around.
Yes.
And then I stopped because people started getting pulled over and people would get stuck when it rained. But yeah, I would do it all.
Yeah.
But I'm respectful.
So Wes just started burning incense, so that either means he farted or he's about to do something super spiritual. What are you doing?
No,
there?
I just wanted to get in the mood.
Okay, cool. Mood for what?
Now in freaking T-minus 6 minutes, Wes will have a boner.
This one's called Evening Teakwood. So, just whatever that mood brings upon me, that's what I wanted.
All right, evening wood. But yeah, the car ride home, that was.
Did you guys go straight home?
Yeah, we went right home.
Dude. Did you not? Did you go somewhere? Drive through? Did you go pick up
Are we
Zins?
bad parents for going to go get mimosas and brunch?
Wait, did you really?
Yes, but I will say this.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was there and looking at the drink menu and I'm like, what am I doing? I cannot drink a sip of alcohol. So I did not drink, but I let Aaron get drinks.
Why
and
not?
we had brunch at this nice restaurant in Winter Park.
Nice.
We had been up for however many hours. We hadn't had a good meal.
Like one
And-
drink would have put you in.
Yeah. No, but
Immediate.
Aaron hadn't drank in 9 months. We were just complaining about the food and not the food at the hospital, but just Ubering in food. And then it gets lost in the hospital. It's cold. We were like, hey, we have a newborn. So can we sit by ourselves? Not anyone close. It was great. It was kind of like a celebratory moment, if that makes sense. Like we just had this baby. We're on our own. And we were like, we're going to go celebrate. We felt self-conscious when the waitress was like, oh my God, your baby's so cute. And I'm like, thank you. She goes, how old is she? And we're like, 4 days old. And she was like, you have your baby out here? We're like, she just got out of the NICU. Like we just, but it was fun though. We stayed away from people and just had a good meal and Aaron had one drink and then we went home. But
that's what I was gonna say. Is I thought it was longer than 4 days. But you guys were going back and forth in the NICU, so it's a little bit more understandable why you might have wanted to stop somewhere on the way home.
And we were an hour from home.
Yeah.
We only drove home once. Then we stayed at the hospital the rest of the time. So had not been in a normal cycle for 5 days. So we were like, let's go. Hindsight, probably not the best decision. But we enjoyed it. It was an outdoor restaurant. It's Winter Park, so it was nice. You know what I mean? I think I was like, Aaron, you deserve a drink. I just watched you go through hell and back. I watched you go through something like when I missed the last leg of my parlay on a big card or something. So,
okay, so then you get home. Was there a moment of it sinking in that you just brought your first newborn home? Like any discernible change in the atmosphere of your home or
First thing I remember is being stressed about the dogs.
dogs. That's what comes to mind for me too.
We were so worried. You're already weird about the baby. And then your dogs are excited to see you. And then who the heck is this little thing that you just brought in the door? We were so scared they were going to nip at her, pounce on her. But they were great. They're good dogs, but they're just annoying. They've been really good with Callie since the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah, that was pretty much right off the bat was introducing Eden to Ellie.
Yeah.
And it was so nerve-wracking. But I mean, Ellie was awesome. She was just very curious, just sniffed her a bunch. That was it.
About
Yeah,
you?
same thing for us with our dog. Also, just getting Leah situated and comfortable too, because to your point, Will, they're like stitched up and they're a little bit, I don't know, uncomfortable with, or probably a lot of bit uncomfortable with everything that they just went through, and so trying to find like a good setup or situation for them to just relax and chill. Yeah. We had family over too, coming back and forth like those first few days.
Did that not stress
It was
you
nice.
out? Were they there when you got home?
I don't think right when we got home we had anybody at the house, but I do think we had like later on that day, I believe somebody came over, and then we had people stopping by.
Yeah.
Throughout the.
I was thinking if they were there when you got home. I don't know. To me,
Yeah,
I'd be like, holy crap. Like,
Yeah, I don't think if anybody was with us, it was Leah's mom, which is like completely understandable. And she comes over a lot or will stay over, and it doesn't bother me in the slightest. I will say this, I don't know if you guys did this, but we always recommend it to friends, having a meal train set up.
Yeah. Mhm.
That was so clutch to have friends bring over meals, and it gives them an opportunity to see the baby or family too. And we were cool with people coming in and hanging with us for a little bit or eating dinner with us. But we also had some people that literally just dropped food off at the door or Ubered food for us. Like that was the best because you're just so overwhelmed with so many things. And then to think about making food or cooking food or having to order food, like it's just an added thing that you just don't really want to think about. So
So that's
for anybody listening, have somebody set up a meal train for you, whether it be family or a friend, because you will thank that person after the fact. Big time.
Or if you know somebody who is having a baby,
Be the one to
be the person to set it up for them, because it is so helpful. And I mean, I'm glad you brought that up, Wes, because that is when I look back on that time. One of the most shocking things for me it wasn't really anything personal for me, but it was more so with Kelsey. Kelsey's generally not a super anxious person. She doesn't get overly worked up about much. But early on, for a good chunk of the first month of being home, she really, really did get hit hard with some kind of it wasn't postpartum depression, or
it's almost like a fear of like doing things wrong, or
it was I don't want to really speak for her, but probably closer to anxiety than depression. But she was just so concerned that whatever could go wrong with Eden was going to go wrong. Just generally feeling not able to totally care for her, and for me that was kind of concerning, because I was like, I've never really seen Kelsey like this. And you also for the most part, I mean, I'm sure there are ways that you can help, but like there's not a ton that you can do when somebody's experiencing stuff like that. Okay, you can definitely be there and support them, but what you can't do is just disregard the fears that they have,
or even like distance yourself. You have to be like there, but not too much.
Yeah, exactly. You just have to be present. So that was really strange. and I don't mean that in like it was strange and like any kind of burdensome way. It was just, wow, this is something we haven't gone through yet as a couple. And the reason that I said I'm glad you brought up the meal train, Wes, is because when we like look back on that now, Kelsey's like, I don't know how I could have been cooking dinner for us at that time. Like we had meals given to us probably every night for at least 2 weeks or so. And so just not having to worry about that was huge, especially for Kelsey, but for both of us in general.
I want to go back to something you're saying, there's not much you can do. And Wes was saying, wives are uncomfortable in stitches. Can I tell you memories that I cherish is when your wife has to wear a diaper. And like, I loved helping Erin go to the bathroom. I can be like behind her and it looks like she's wearing an adult diaper. There's some videos where me and her were bantering back and forth and she's walking upstairs in pain, moving slow, and her diaper's a little sideways and I'm videotaping. I'm like,
I forgot.
And Erin turns around and just starts dying laughing because she knows it's funny too. Little things like that. Never did I think I would say I enjoyed changing my wife's diaper, but those are fun little memories. You know what I mean? Helping your wife, I just thought was such a funny, unique, obviously never done something like that before. Did you guys help with that at all?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't remember doing too much of that. I feel like
You would remember, so.
I feel like
Whenever we got bought Eden's changing station, we also got an adult size one. So I'd like lay Kelsey on that and
throw Kelsey up on top of the dresser.
Yeah, I'd like wipe her butt and
no, it was.
Dude, I went through so many baby wipes just on Kelsey.
Yeah,
just baby powder.
And I hope that's not an embarrassing thing to Erin because she just had a baby. You're gonna be a little jacked up down there,
Yeah, well, it shouldn't be embarrassing. I mean, if you're a woman and you plan on having a baby, you're going to experience it.
Yeah,
it is reality.
It was just so fun turning a not glorious situation into a funny little. She'd be like, "Oh, I have to go to the bathroom," and I'd be like, "Does Daddy need to change your diaper?" And she would be like, "Shut the up, Will." But
let's talk about sleep. How was that for you guys? For the baby and for y'all.
Colin, do you want to start?
Eden's always been a really good sleeper. But if it wasn't the first night, it was probably the second or third where both Kelsey and I thought the other had set the alarms for the night. So like every 2 or 3 hours, wake up and feed and stuff. And so we both thought the other one did it and neither of us did. So it was either night 2 or 3 and we wake up 6 or 7 hours after falling asleep. And we just look at each other like, oh my gosh, we slept through the night. We killed our baby. What is wrong? What's wrong? So we, roll over. Eden's in the bassinet and she's doing fine. And Kelsey called the pediatrician that morning and was like, we went 7 hours without feeding her. Is she okay? And the pediatrician's just like, she's fine. If your baby's sleeping, let her sleep. So we pretty quickly didn't set any schedules to wake up and feed. It was just if she gets up and is crying, then Kelsey will go feed. And
what was your average once you started letting her do that?
For a while, I can't remember exactly. We probably got up like twice a night. I'd say every like 3 or 4 hours. We'd get.
I was about to say, if that was 7 hours off rip.
Yeah,
and
it wasn't off the but pretty quickly Eden was sleeping through the night. So yeah, so Eden has always been a good sleeper, and it's so I almost feel guilty, but I don't feel like me or Kelsey have experienced now here I am. I'm wrong again. Kelsey has experienced lack of sleep since we've had Eden, but not because Eden keeps us up all the time. It's just because Kelsey's a mom and is just nervous. I swear she sleeps with one eye open now, just watching the baby monitor. And any noise, anything she makes, it just gets Kelsey up like that. So I'm, on the other hand, have slept like a baby. I did decide early on. So Kelsey breastfed for the pretty much the full first year. So obviously I wasn't going to be getting up and giving Eden formula, but I did just kind of out of solidarity. It was like, okay, I'll get up and sit there while Kelsey feeds, and then I'll try to rock Eden back down just to feel like I'm helping somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah. What about you guys?
Leah and I, for the most part, would say early on it was pretty tough. Margot we struggled to get Margot to fall asleep. She would wake up a lot. Leah would typically be the one to wake up during the night, mainly because similar to Kelsey, would just naturally always be waking up on her own. And I do remember just randomly waking up all the time because I think I also had just that weird fear that she was going to roll over on her face, or whatever she was wrapped up in would get in front of her nose and she'd suffocate herself. So like, even till this day, like I feel like I look at the little baby monitor and I'm always looking to see if I can see like her, like her breathing, just because I don't know. I just have this weird fear that she's going to like get tangled in a blanket or something. And you just have no way of knowing. So Leah definitely can relate to Kelsey with just the anxiety of sleeping and just thinking something bad's going to happen, especially through the night. I think I also kind of felt that way at first a little bit. Leah had trouble with breastfeeding and producing milk. And so we decided pretty early on that, all right, we're just going to switch to formula feeding her. And when we did that, or when Leah decided like, I just can't do this anymore, like this just isn't working, then I would help her from time to time with waking up and feeding Margot or getting a bottle. Sometimes I would stay up and feed her, or sometimes Leah would just nudge me and like, hey, can you go get a bottle? Which this is probably the best time for me to plug a product.
I knew you were going to do that.
Yes, I have to.
I knew this had to be the one.
I always talk about this to anybody that has a baby or is getting ready to have a baby, because it was a lifesaver for us, specifically if you aren't breastfeeding. So if you're formula feeding, this is the best thing you can get. Even if you are breastfeeding, but you also want to have formula that you give or as like a backup or reserve. It's literally like a Keurig, but for babies. It's called the Baby Brezza. And you put in the baby formula, you select the ounces, and you just keep the cartridge full of water, or you keep refilling it. You press a button, and it literally mixes the formula and the water together. It warms it up. And so I'd be waking up at like 3 a.m. I'd walk to the kitchen, press a button, and within 15 seconds, I'd have a bottle of milk to give Margot. So yeah, whether I was the one staying up or I'd give the milk to Leah and then go to sleep, it was just so convenient. Because I know a lot of people, especially if you're breastfeeding, like you got to be up. Or if you're using formula that you have in the fridge. Or
wait, do your nipples not work when you're sleeping?
Huh?
Does like a woman's breast not work?
What do you mean?
Well, you said like you're up if you're breastfeeding.
Well,
Like can a mom not go on autopilot with her breast?
I don't know.
I
can't speak from experience on that, but maybe
I mean, in theory, I think they could sleep, but again, I could be spreading fake news here, but it really is kind of a bit of a team effort. Like it's not just as simple as like putting your lips to a. What are you laughing at?
When you said team effort, all I thought was you on one tit and Ian on the other.
No, between
just balancing out
between mom and baby.
Well, did you guys practice beforehand with?
Yeah.
So it's tough.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't come out as easy as you think. I remember Leah and I were like trying to figure it out for 30 minutes one time, but.
So that is true though. It doesn't actually come out as easy as you would think. The baby actually has to really work for it, and so they have to latch, and the baby has to. If they they can roll off of the nipple, and it's not just they don't just latch on and then mom and baby can zone out for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then also, I think a lot of lactation consultants recommend
Not falling asleep.
like switching from one nipple to the other every so often. So I think so. Kelsey would early on she would time it on an app, and it'd often be 5 minutes on one side and then 5 on the next. And it would just there was a lot of back and forth sometimes too. So it's not exactly like something you can just kind of relax and fall asleep to. At least
It's not like the movies where it's like,
no, just like everything else related to pregnancy, birth, like it's nothing like the movies portray.
yeah. No, I would say that's a great product. Aaron tried breastfeeding. You guys already heard that story. And so we went to formula, but we got the Brezza because of you, Wes, and it was so clutch. We had it right next to our bed in our room because our kitchen was downstairs. And we were like, we're not doing that. So we got a little bar cart and put it in our room. So
Yeah, it's true. You can literally put it anywhere as long as it's
when Callie would get up, just go over there and press the button. And by the time you get her out of the bassinet, your bottle's ready. It's funny. We always relay like our experience with the dogs as puppies to like Callie. Obviously, you're trying to house train your dogs with peeing. And we lived in a townhome. So we would have to take them out front like every 2 to 3 hours. We started with one of us doing it. And then you know how it is. I don't know. I feel like it doesn't always work like that. So at one point we're like, you know what? We're doing this crap together. And so we were on that page with Callie. We were just getting up together. Like you and Leo West, one of us would go get Callie. One of us would make the bottle. One of us would get the diaper changing station ready. And then we would alternate who fed her the bottle. If she was feeding her the bottle, I may doze off, like sitting there being with her or vice versa. And then we'd put her back in the bassinet. She slept very similar, like 3 hours, I would say. I can't even remember, dude. It's funny because when you're in it, it feels like,
yeah, you know everything. You're like, yeah, I'm sleeping like 3 hours, 2 and like, you know all the numbers.
I don't even remember. It feels like it was a week.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even tell you how many weeks it was we did that. And I bet it's way longer than in my head I'm thinking it was. But I would say, though, we moved her out of the room quicker than what the norm is. She was sleeping in her nursery at 7 weeks. But that's because another dad product. I'll be quick. The snoo. I know it's controversial in some settings, and it doesn't work for everyone. But that thing is a spaceship for babies. And it has built-in swaddles. And you waddle them up and it plays white noise and moves very slowly. And if they start to move or cry, it speeds up depending on their cry. And it's all run through an app. Callie took very well to the snoo to where she would wake up and just scare herself. You know how babies twitch a lot when they're younger? And we would wake up and the snoo would start moving a little bit and she'd fall back asleep. Because like if she needed to eat or she had a dirty diaper, she's not going back to bed. When she was 7, 8 weeks old, and the doctor was like, if the baby is going to sleep 4 or 5, like, let it sleep. It's going to be okay. Why we moved her out was because, again, our only time together is late at night. And so we were realizing we were up there with her in the room at 7:30 or whatever time we'd put her to bed, and then we like don't have the TV on or we're barely talking, and we kind of lost like that little time we had together. So that's why we moved her out so quick. And because she was doing well, we started to get 5 hours straight, then 6 hours straight, and then 7 hours straight, 8 hours straight, and it just kind of progressed from there. But
no better feeling than when you're going through that phase of trying to just get them to sleep throughout the night, and you have those one nights here or there where they sleep throughout the night. You wake up and you're like,
yeah,
the entire night. You're like hopeful and optimistic that the next night it's going to be the same way. It never did.
It's funny you say that because like you said about how you still to this day get nervous. I still will zoom in on the monitor and look at her chest and I'm like,
yeah,
is there movement? Like you said, those random nights where she started sleeping longer, you wake up like, oh shit. And then you're like, check and you're like, oh, she's still sleeping. Like, this is awesome. But
we didn't really talk about this, but we had like a system, or at least we thought we had a really good kind of like consistent process to getting the baby to fall asleep too. Cause that's a challenge within itself. Like obviously when you get them to fall asleep, the goal was them staying asleep throughout the night, but there's also just getting them to fall asleep.
Yep.
Because I don't know about y'all, but we, feed Margot milk and rock her. And obviously when they're in your arms, it's comforting and they would fall asleep a little bit easier. And it's like the moment you'd set them down in the crib, then all of a sudden they wake up and they start crying again. So then you got to pick them up. And then all the experts say you just got to let them cry it out. But then that's like the worst thing in the world, because hearing your little girl cry for like 15, 20 minutes, and it sounds like they're about to like
They stop breathing. They're like,
yeah, they're like choking on themselves. I was always the one telling Leah, like, I got to go in there and get her. I'm just going to get her. She's like, no, Wes, we have to let her cry it out. No, we have to wait this amount of time. I'm like, no, I'm going to go in there. I don't care. I'll rock her back to sleep again. How was that for you guys? Because I know I just threw a lot there, but that was the toughest part for me.
I feel like this could be a good dad debate segment.
Yep. Is this our first dad debate?
I think we
first
no, we've had a couple, but
dad debate about should you use the cry it out method or not. And of course, just like many of these things, there's going to be some kind of middle ground potentially. But before having Eden, I don't know that I had a strong opinion, but I was like, I don't think I'd want to let my baby cry it out. That sounds like it'd be really, I mean, quite frankly, kind of annoying. But to hear your baby cry also would be sad. And again, we didn't have too much of a struggle early on with that stuff. But she did. There was a period. I don't know what month it was in. But it was, actually would have definitely been, the most significant one was after we had moved her to her crib. So we didn't move Eden to her crib until 8 months. And that was just because she grew out of her bassinet. So she started to go through a little bit of a regression, and we didn't totally just jump to cry it out, but we did that kind of progressive sleep training. So how it would be like night one, we'd go in 5-minute intervals, let her cry for 5 minutes and then go rock her, put her back down, 5 minutes again. And then the second night we'd bump it up to 7 minutes, or maybe it was every,
I think it was every week.
No. It was either night by night or like interval by interval, like 5 minutes and then put her down. And then next time would be 7 minutes. I forget which one it was. Kelsey would obviously be able to answer that for me. But regardless, you elongate the interval until the baby can put herself back down to sleep. We did that for 3 nights and haven't had any significant issues since. So I'm not naive enough to be like, you just have to do this one thing and it will work every time. In our experience, that worked for us. And so, and then what I also discovered about myself in that process is that I don't, this is going to sound harsh, but I didn't actually really feel as bad for Eden while she was crying. I just was more so like, yeah, it's kind of annoying that my baby's making loud noises right now, but I can kind of tune that out and just know that like she's fine. Nothing bad's going to happen to her. She's just crying. So I was a little bit more cold-hearted about that than what I thought I would be. So I am probably more so on the cry it out side now.
I'm in the exact same boat as you. I couldn't fathom letting a baby cry it out pre-baby. Mm-hmm. And then seeing just how all of her needs were met. There was nothing more we could have. Fresh diaper,
yeah,
fed, loved, fell asleep, passed out, and I lay you, dude. And when I tell you the amount of like thoughtfulness, technique, like when you're putting your baby down when they're babies and they're sleeping, bro, you are so delicate. I swear I could have stolen, like, the movies where they're like ziplining down and they're like grabbing something out of like a laser chest or something. I don't know how to explain it, bro. I was so meticulous. There's times where the baby will roll your hand over or something and she like flops over and doesn't wake up. But then at night you do it perfect. You close the door handle and all of a sudden, ah!
Yeah.
Similar to Colin, I almost felt cold-hearted a couple times because I'm like, Callie, you have it so good. You are so fine. Like, you have fallen asleep. Don't do this to your mom. Like, it felt like forever in the moment. I have no idea how long until we started that progression. But me and Aaron did a very similar thing, Colin, maybe different on the timeline. Callie just started really taking to that. And I don't know how quick it worked, but it worked. Like, at one point we were up to like 20 minutes, which sounds terrible, but we knew she was fine, and she would fall asleep at 10 minutes for a week straight after crying. But dude, it's like a blood curdling cry too. It's just so brutal. The mental part, I felt bad for Aaron because Aaron would feel really bad, but I'm like, babe, there's literally nothing more we can do. The baby doesn't feel left alone or anything. But I guess me and Colin are more hybrid cry it outers because we weren't like straight onto the cry it out thing. I think that's a little rough because your baby doesn't know what the hell it's doing in this world.
Yeah, I mean,
Are you about to make us feel bad, Wes? Go ahead.
I I think we had just a tougher time with getting that regimen to work, maybe as well as it did for you guys. It wasn't as successful for us with that method. I did feel bad. Like, I truthfully felt bad. Like, when she was crying for like 15, 20 something minutes, and like, it would just eat at me. Something about it, just like hearing my daughter cry, even if I know that that's a normal thing, even till this day, when I hear her cry really hard, I just feel bad, and I want to go and like hold her and make sure everything's good. And Leah would be like, "No, Wes, like, stop."
Really?
She'd
Like,
get mad at me.
within
She'd be like, huh?
You still feel that way with any situation where she starts like really crying?
Yeah, man. I'm just a freaking. I'm screwed.
Dude, I
Like,
am
today,
an asshole.
dude. Today, I mean, I had my moments where sometimes I gotta be like, that's enough, and I get mad. But like today, there's this game that we do. It's so dumb. It's called Wada Wada Wada, and we essentially just like run at the couch and just jump on it with our stomachs, and she thinks it's the funnest thing. And our nightly routine now is that we give her like half water, half milk, and we watch like Moana or whatever show she wants to in bed like 10 minutes before we put her down to go to sleep. And she finished her milk, and we're laying in bed, and she's like, "Can we go play Wada Wada Wada?" And I'm like, "No, like, we're gonna sit here." And she goes, "I want to Wada Wada Wada," like that. And she starts like, her eyes start getting watery, and I'm like, "All right, I'll go do Wada Wada Wada." Just stuff like that, dude. But I know that's very different from the baby just crying. But for the most part, Leah was the one that was like, "No, Wes, you just gotta stop. We can't go in there. We gotta let her cry it out." And usually she was right. Usually at a certain point, she would just fall asleep. But there were a couple times where she would cry it out for a while, and then we'd go back in there, and we realized that she pooped.
Yeah.
Or we'd look at the temperature in the room, and we're like, "Oh, like, maybe she's crying because it's too cold in the room." Or like, I'd walk in the room. In both houses that we've lived in, there's a vent in her room that like is right over where her crib is. Probably should have thought about that before we put the crib in the spot. And so if we turn the AC on, or if we turn the heat on, she feels it really quick. So the temperature would sometimes, we feel like, play a role in it. I don't know. So I am in favor of letting the babies cry it out, but I also feel like there were moments where we kind of needed to go in there and fix her or whatever. So
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's the thought of your baby learning from an early age that maybe mom and dad aren't going to show up for me when I need them. Like, that's a terrifying thought.
Yeah.
And so, of course, you want to make sure your baby knows that mom and dad will be there for them.
Yeah.
And I think like what me and Will were definitely expressing is like, we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to like instill that. Like, babies also, like, they also just, like, they just cry for, like, they're just doing it.
They have no other way of communicating.
Yeah. And it's, and at some point they just have to learn to self-soothe. And and then you can have your theory about what way you think it's going to work best, but like you're saying, Wes, just be open to maybe my method isn't what my baby needs, actually, you know. Like,
Yeah.
and it could be the AC is too cold. It could, like, there are other options, and so I don't need to be closed off to just thinking, no, this is the way that works. You know, you have a second child might be totally different than the first.
And the other part to that is you have to be willing to accept the fact that if you do give in to them crying, then it is going to be a lot harder for you to get to the result that you want. So there is obviously discipline on the parents' end to stick to a method and to be consistent with what you want actually to take place.
It's almost like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't, Wes.
It really is like a pick your poison type of.
I feel like that's parenting in a nutshell. You can do something too much, but if you don't do it enough, you could have a negative. I feel like I think about that a lot.
You know what pisses me off about people the most are people who give their opinions about what you should or shouldn't do. So a classic example, oh, you shouldn't use a sound machine, or you shouldn't do this or that. And it's just like, every kid is different. There are certain things that worked really well for certain kids and certain things that didn't work well for other kids. I just hate when people give really strong opinions on things that.
Dude, I can't remember the context for this at all, but I remember.
I agree with everything you said, Wes.
I remember hearing.
You agree or you disagree?
I said I agree with everything you said.
Yeah.
I remember somebody early on after we had Eden, hearing somebody say, you shouldn't use white noise, you should use green noise. And I'm just like,
I remember you telling me about this.
Did you punch that person square in the nose?
just like, how could you ever come up with that? Like, how could you ever determine that that was a piece of information that anybody cared to know or should know?
The fear mongering of parenting is such an annoying thing. Like, oh, well, you shouldn't use that little thing on the foot because it gives you a false sense of security. And if they're actually getting good sleep or not. Oh, you shouldn't swaddle your baby versus you should put them in a sleep sack versus.
Honestly, what made me more mad about it as a dad, there is probably 2% of the pressure that a woman feels about mothering a child. In terms of like that initial trying to do everything right. Women are born with this innate responsibility that they can handle everything. They need to know how to do everything and they do everything right. So for someone to say anything that could remotely be hurtful or judgmental to someone who just gave birth, who are trying to figure it out, like, respectfully, go yourself.
Yeah.
First off, it's not your kid. It's not your body. It's not your life. There are ways of doing it, though. I'm not saying that anyone that's ever recommended something to us, they're in that category, but you know what I'm talking
about. Yeah, I agree.
You know what I'm talking about.
If, like, for example, if you guys were to give me a recommendation on something, like, y'all are my best friends. If my sister or somebody, like that's a little bit different than a person that I don't know that well, or somebody from church or somebody from work that's giving you advice on things that you didn't ask for. That, like, just.
I think it's the delivery too. Like, if you're saying, hey, this really worked for me, it may not work for you, blah, blah, blah. But people being like, oh, you do that?
Yeah.
Wow. Did you not see the study of the 5 kids in a test of 10 billion that died? Did you not see that?
I distinctly remember somebody asking me, so how's sleeping going for the babies at work? I'm like, oh, things are good. You know, it's rough, it's tough. And she's like, all right, well, make sure you don't use any white noise because it makes it a lot harder for them to fall. And I was so irritated that you're giving me advice on something that I didn't ask for, and you don't know me that well. You don't even know my wife. Like, I don't know you. Like, just shut up.
So go ahead, Will. Go ahead.
I just have a funny story about this because it stuck in my brain because I remember being just so blown away by this. It was on Instagram. Callie was probably a month or 2 old. And I think a lot of women will follow a bunch of social media mom or, influential people, little hacks and everything like that. Well, there was one that popped up on my For You page because I was looking at a lot of baby stuff, obviously. And it was this lady on there saying, when you're changing your baby's diaper, don't lift one leg to wipe underneath their butt. Lift both legs and hold with a towel like on the edge or something, because if you grab your baby's one leg, it could create like chronic hip dysplasia for the rest of their life. You're telling me, like, hold on, my baby shits up her back to her neck, and I can't grab one of her little chicken legs to get underneath her. Like, I need to grab both and fold them back together. And people in the comments were roasting each other. One lady was like, give me a break. And someone was like, oh, I'll give you a break when your daughter or your kid doesn't have hip problems. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, people are insane.
Stop it.
Sorry, but don't pick your baby's one leg up if you're ever wiping. Hopefully you guys don't.
I mean, Colin, did your parents pick you up with one leg?
Are you about to make a joke? Because my hip's been hurt for the past 10 weeks.
Dude, your parents, dude. It's concerning,
Colin,
man.
we need to find out right now. Like, you need to call your mom.
Hey, phone in Haley and ask her if her hips are bad.
Should I wake my mom up right now and be like, when you changed my diaper, did you grab me by one leg? I'm gonna kill you, Mom.
Thanks, Mom.
Oh my God.
All right, sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's good. I was gonna say this feels like a tangent, but it's not, because we're talking about like the early stages of having your child and just kind of things that you weren't prepared for, or whatever. And one thing that just blew my mind was I think people have good intentions, and we generally just don't know how to talk to one another. We either don't know what to say, and so we don't talk to each other, or we don't know what to say, so we fill up the space with stupid shit. And I mean, the number of people, man, it's like every single day, somebody would say to me or Kelsey, hey, how's the baby doing? How are you guys doing? Are you getting any sleep? That was always the first thing that people would say. You getting any sleep? How's the baby sleeping? And we'd say, actually, we are getting a lot of sleep, and so is our baby, and it's really awesome. And so then it's like, okay, you already didn't know what to say, because you just jump right to, let's talk about baby sleep. And then
How bad's your life?
You really don't know what to say. So
when
now
they don't say what you were supposed to say.
Yeah, I didn't say what I was supposed to say. So now it's like, dude, every single time it's, oh, well, you know what that means. When the second one comes around, oh, it's going to be a totally different story.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, every single time I'm just like, yeah, I bet our next kid's going to be an Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Well,
bro.
similar to that, I think I even talked to you guys about this, but I know Leah and I have chatted about this. Before you have the baby, what's the one thing that everybody says? Enjoy your sleep now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like, oh, enjoy your sleep now. Enjoy your free time now. And like, I felt whenever somebody would say that, of all things you could say to new parents, to people that are
who are already scared shitless,
people that are getting ready to embark on something that's so exciting and yet so challenging in its own way, and there's all these different stressors and things that you're going to, like, why be the people to add fuel to that or to reinforce something? It's like, yeah, I know that I'm not going to get that great of sleep. I signed up for this. Like, we intentionally wanted to have a kid. This is what
I didn't sign up for it. My condom broke. Sorry.
And you know what? To kind of go back to a prior episode, like, your kids will make you ready for it, whether you want to or not. Like I can't function without getting at least 5 hours of sleep. If I don't, I usually get sick. When we had Margot that first 6 months, I was getting pretty used to functioning on less than 5 hours of sleep, and I was fine. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. I have an opinion about people that say things like that. When we have friends that are getting ready to have kids, one of the things I always say is, hey, everybody's going to tell you to be prepared for this and that. It's awesome. It's the best. You'll love it. Don't listen to that noise. Yeah, you're not going to get as great of sleep. You'll get through it. Like, just know it's just such a fun experience. That's That's the type of stuff that we should be telling people that are getting ready to have their first kid, but it's like almost the opposite a lot of times. And it kind of plays on to what you had said, Colin, where people are telling, well, if you're getting good sleep now, just wait till the next kid. And it's just, that's so annoying.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's like we only know how to talk about problematic things. Like we just don't know how to
Misery
like,
loves company. It's like,
yeah.
I think, Colin, you're right. I feel like self-reflection has been lost, where they don't think what they're about to say to a new parent. They don't think about how it made them feel, because now they're on the back end. So it's like totally disconnected, and all they associate with that is those hard times, where the parents that have really been helpful, that tell you, hey, this was difficult, but we did this, we tried this. They relate to you and say, oh, that was tough for us too. This is normal. It's supposed to be hard.
yeah.
You go from having just you and your spouse, and then you have a baby in the mix. Like, no shit, it's hard. No shit, you're going to sleep less. I agree with you completely, but I just made that connection because I feel like that's something really good to think about, not only as parents, but in life in general. When you're about to make that comment, just do like a second of self-reflection. How did it make me feel when that was done to me previously? Why don't we rewrite the script here? You know, it's like in high school, I think it's the worst offender of all time. But the way seniors treat freshmen in the locker room and different things like that, because guess what? They were freaking hazed and, embarrassed as freshmen, and the cycle continues.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it affects parents a lot because there's already so much intrinsic pressure of what you're about to embark on and what you want to do. To have outside people all the time, dude, just being like, oh, good luck ever sleeping again.
Yeah. It's a weird thing, honestly, but you're right. It can have this kind of sinister effect on the person who's hearing it over and over again, because like I am fully aware that there's no scientific logic to whether our next kid is going to be a good sleeper or not. I will never be convinced that there's some kind of logic to if your first kid does well, then your second's not going to, right?
No, it's just fact.
But enough people have said that. Enough people have said that it's like it's there present in my psyche, and again, I'm not. It's not like I worry about that. And when we have our second kid, I'm not going to be like, oh man, this one's going to sleep really poorly. But it has this just terribly sinister effect where enough people start to say it, and it's just like, get out of my head,
Yeah.
No, it does. That is a very real thing. Callie's been so good, and we're so blessed. And we've actually talked about the second kid is going to be like the expectation. I believe that does derive from every single person we've ever told that's Callie sleeps well tells us the second kid will suck. It's almost 100% of the time.
Yeah.
I think it does start to have an effect on. It's not like you worry about it or have anxiety, but you're like, yeah, you're probably right in comparison to Callie.
Yeah.
And I think that's a disservice to parents as well, because I think the first time you're a parent, you have this blank canvas. So like going through that for the first time is a very unique experience. But I do feel like your second kid, the pregnancy and early stages of life can be skewed because now you have a base. And if you don't approach the second kid as a completely separate thing, you can get into trouble mentally.
Yeah.
I think you can.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, on top of like the effect that it has on the parents themselves, I actually would like to say something to people who ask those questions, and then in turn us, because we can do the same thing too. And it's something I do try to be intentional about when I know people are having kids or whatever. Like as a parent, I know I can talk to people about Eden for a very long time. If they want to know what's going on in her life, I can share quite a bit. I love talking about Eden. So parents, I think, will like to talk about their kids. You don't have to ask questions that you don't really care about the answer to. Like when you ask questions that you have a canned response to already, you're asking it because you don't actually care what's about to come out of the parent's mouth. Like you're just trying to make small talk because you don't know what else to say. So as a parent, I would say, just don't ask me the question. But if you do genuinely want to know how my daughter's doing, just ask how she's doing. And I promise you,
I'll have an answer.
I have more than enough to share with you. And if
Yeah.
you're actually engaged in the conversation, like we'll have a great conversation about it. But it's just, I just think that it's a weird phenomenon that we do culturally, that like just small talk in general. But in this, as a parent, it's just really struck me as like,
Well, that's a really good point.
It's listening to speak versus listening to learn.
yeah,
And some people ask questions because they're trying to find a way to talk about something that they actually want to talk about, or they're not actually listening. They're just waiting to respond, or waiting for you to stop talking so they can respond. And so, to your point, if that's your intention with a conversation related to parenting, then just don't ask the question. Like, but if you're actually wanting to know how that parent or that person's doing and how that kid is doing, then be prepared for the lengthy answers if you're the type of parent to want to like talk about your kid a lot, because people like us will.
yeah.
And I've had people, it almost like catches them off guard that I'm like so excited to talk about my kid, like that I want to, that
we like it so much that we started a podcast about it. Do you think if we weren't getting sleep, like that, like even if we weren't getting sleep, like you think that would really be a big factor in our lives? Like it's not, it doesn't matter. It's just, if you're not getting sleep, you're not getting sleep. Who cares?
Yeah. Dang, Wes, I've never heard someone say that. Are you listening to speak or are you listening to learn? I've thought about this recently. I think also because I talk to a lot of people, like on a day-to-day where I don't know them very well. I'm learning and meeting a lot of new people. I do ask a lot of questions and learn about them. I also like to relate to people, if that makes sense. Like when people are telling stories and I start relating in my head, and sometimes I've felt like me saying a story or how I relate to it can come off as I'm listening to speak.
I would honestly say, Will, and I'm not just saying this for the podcast. I genuinely think that you're, like, whether you recognize it or not, you are one of the people who seems to talk to people like with the intent on, like Wes is saying.
Yeah, like you have a genuine curiosity. You're
Yeah.
not trying to like hear yourself talk. Yeah.
No, I was like, damn, because I just talk a lot. Like I cut you guys off.
Well, I mean, in sales, if you think about it, not to really get off topic, that is a constant battle. Actually being curious, actually having good questions that you ask, actually listening to learn and understand your customers' why and their wants and needs versus just trying to talk and get out what you want to get out. So I think that being that you're in that world and I'm also in that world, I struggle with that sometimes.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think that's why I hate salespeople too. I've always said that. I try not to be, because I forgot if a coach said this in college or this is high school, but always take the long, hard route over the easy, short one. And I think in sales, that's what I try to apply. Just be like myself. I've told my customers about this podcast, and one of my customers listened to it and was like, you're the same exact person you are in meetings. I was like, dude, I told you could call it my sales process, but like I tell people, I am Will here that I am Will at any time. This is not me trying to pitch you the world. This is just, I genuinely believe that I can, help you with this, solve this problem, be a good partner to you. This isn't any sales pitch. And I appreciate you saying that, Colin, because I apologize to you on a separate call being like, hey, when I was editing the podcast and I'm like, dude, I am sorry because I cut you off and went on a tangent 2 or 3 times when you were in the middle of something, and I had no intention of sounding like such a prick. Like I sub out a cuss word with a cuss word. I subbed out like a R-rated cuss word with a PG-13. I think everyone can benefit from being more intentional with their comments and where they come from. And like you said, don't listen to speak. Don't listen just to say something to them.
Wait for the 8th month. What do they call it? Regression.
Yeah.
Wasn't there that?
Dude,
like that was the other thing. It's like I would hear that from people too.
Regressions and
finally sleeping good. And like, oh, have you hit the 5-month regression yet? I'm like, well, she's 4 months. She's like, oh.
Oh, dude,
here's next month. Like,
here's a recent one I had. I probably wouldn't call them out on air, but yeah, this is what he was like, how's Callie doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, so sweet now. Like, she'll run up to me and hug me and say like dad and stuff. It's just so great, like how much she loves me. And it was, wait till she's 13.
Yeah. It's
Wait till she's in middle school. Like, I mean, can I just enjoy her running up to me? Like,
Yeah.
so anyway,
we went down that path of talking about this topic for a while, but I do think it's very relatable, and I think there's a lot of people that are listening that will be able to find a number of different examples where they had that situation play out. And if you're a person listening that isn't a parent, learn from us and don't be that person. Find a way to speak positivity, or just be like a breath of fresh air when you talk to a new parent.
encouragement. Yeah.
Encourage.
Positive encouragement. Yeah.
It
So
goes a long way. And
can I say one more thing about it? We can cut this out. We're gonna have to cut a lot of this out.
we're gonna
Well, no, because what I'm thinking right now is like doing that kind of stuff is this may be a really exaggerated example, but it's a kind of like saying, hey man, how's your life going right now? It's like, it's going great. Well, that's awesome. Just wait till you die. And it's like, no shit, that I know that's coming eventually, but like, is that a reason to not enjoy my life now? Like, my daughter, when she's 13, she might be really annoyed with me as her dad, but whether that happens or doesn't, that's out of my control right now. And I'm going to do my best to be the kind of dad that my daughter loves being around, even when she's 13 or 14. And what is it?
And also, whatever they say might actually not ever happen.
It might not. It may or may not happen. Like,
dude, that's the realist you were being. It's like, how are you and your wife doing? Oh, we're doing great, man. Wait till she leaves your ass. Wait till she stops loving you. Then your life will be in shambles.
Yeah, you apply to everybody.
But I've been holding this in. You're gonna be like, how the hell did I even get back here? I have a fail, and I'm adding this segment in because we're talking about the cry it out. And it happened very recently. Callie went down for a nap. I told Aaron had a friend visiting. Rachel was visiting. I don't want, if Rachel listened to this and heard I just said friend, it would be a disservice to her. So Aaron's bestie
We'll cut
was
all
visiting.
that out anyway. It's just, we'll cut that out.
So Aaron went up to the lagoon, and I was like, I'll be working, but Callie's on the monitor. Anyway, Callie wakes up, and Rachel's boyfriend is working in the office next to the nursery. And she starts crying, but I text Jacob and I'm like, she may go back down. I'm going to give her 10 or so minutes. She doesn't really go back down. And then 5 minutes later, I have a call that I forgot I had to get on. So I'm on this call, and Callie's on the monitor, and I have it turned down, and I just see like the red dots because that means it's a lot of sound. So I click on it in the middle of my call, and she's crying. And I'm like, oh shit. So I'm trying to wrap the call up. Anyway, like 5-ish, 10 minutes goes by. She's still crying. And I'm like, oh my God. So I get off the call. I run down, open the door. She had got her foot caught through the railing.
Yeah.
And like her leg was completely locked in. The rail was all the way down past her knees. She was just sitting there crying with her leg stuck. And I had to unlodge her leg. And I was like, oh my God. I felt so bad. I felt like I needed to quit my job. My job just broke my daughter's leg in half. And she was completely fine. She was just, scared that her leg was stuck. But I was like, dude, what a shitty dad I am. That's where her hip problems are going to come from, so.
Well, I can, so this didn't actually happen. Let's just do some fails real quick. This didn't actually happen, so I can't quite, it wasn't like a fail in that it occurred, but it was really close. And this is going to make you look like Gold Star Dad will, and me look like a complete idiot. We were going into Publix the other day and brought an umbrella in because it was about to start raining. And I'm just laying around with it. I'm, popping the umbrella and stuff, and Eden thinks it's funny and whatnot. And while I'm doing this, I have the idea in my head to point it at her and pop it to, kind of like make her jump a little bit. And then just, intrusive thought goes through my mind, like, wow, what if I did that and I like hit her right in the head? And at that point, I'm like, all right, I'm just done with this. But then I'm still holding the umbrella and have my thumb on the button to release it. But I don't know what I was doing. I just left my hand there. And so I'm kind of twirling the umbrella around, and it points right at her face, and I hit it, and the umbrella pops out to like an inch in front of her head. And I'm like, dude, I almost just punched her in the skull with this umbrella. Like, it wasn't, I mean, it was pretty close. Like, it would have been some legitimate force going into her forehead there.
Yeah.
Remember Christmas?
It was Margot's first birthday party.
You almost
your
daughter permanent brain damage.
Yeah. Dude, that took me a long time to recover from.
So close.
I still haven't, actually.
Were you getting ready to throw her? I don't remember if you were throwing her in the air or if you were just doing one of those.
I was just picked her up and just, kind of raised her up over my head. I didn't realize.
Fast.
Huh?
But like with some good momentum and speed.
Very fast. And Will, I didn't realize that I was sitting on a coffee table at Wes and Leah's old house in the living area. What do we call it? Foyer? I don't know. I didn't realize that I was sitting under a glass chandelier, but the chandelier was just a solid oval, a solid glass oval. And I pick Eden up and I launch her up over my head, and her head goes, I mean, it's that far on the other side of the thing. I'm not joking you. Like, it took me, if I sit here and think about that long enough, I will get like I'll start questioning my legitimacy as a father.
You're so great.
Can I have you unquestion that? I'm gonna have you unquestion that. Callie almost ran away. We were down for Schulte's son's first birthday. We're staying at Olga and Kirk's house. Me and Kirk wanted to watch the fights, so we're like, we'll stay home, watch the babies, let the moms go out. So call him an Uber. We're on dad duty. Callie was still up at this time. Callie had like 45 minutes left. I'm watching the fights. Of course, I got money down on these fights. I actually won $250 that night.
Let's go. Which fights were these?
It was the O'Malley Merab card, 319. It was a good card. Bro, speaking of that, Zane placed a 15-legger, hit the first 14 legs, and lost with O'Malley as his last leg.
What was the payout?
$10 to win $2,700.
Dude, that's life-changing money.
I thought it would have been way more than that. A 15.
There were a lot of heavy favorites. A lot of heavy favorites, like minus 650s, minus 750s.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so we're watching the fights. Callie's just playing around, running around the house. This isn't my house, so I'm kind of like still learning. All of a sudden, I'm like, I hear Callie go. Connie's like throwing up on my leg. All of a sudden, I hear "Doe." And I'm like looking around, and I look. She had opened the front door. She's standing in the doorway, pointing to the outside, going, "Doe." And I'm like, oh my God. Obviously, we were on dad duty. I didn't leave the house. I wasn't thinking of the lock. I'm not going to blame anyone for where I was on dad duty. But dude, my heart, when you just see Callie standing in a doorway of an open door, just pointing out at the road.
Dude, not to like go down a real dark hole here, but
oh God, it just keeps getting like
no, this is not something that happened to me. But
okay.
It's a good thing to think about, just how quickly something really bad can happen from just like a few seconds of not watching your kid. Did you guys hear about the Emily Kaiser story?
I don't think I want to hear about this.
So they had a pool, and their 3-year-old kid, I guess, got outside into the pool area and fell into the pool and drowned. This like just happened recently. So,
Yeah, that's
dude, stuff like that.
Wait, Emily,
Literally to my
do you know
core.
her?
No, she's like, I guess a TikTok star or some like influencer.
that's yeah.
Um, and yeah,
Oh, yes. And she was getting mad hate online or something like
yeah.
that,
Well, I
right?
think what first came out was that she wasn't actually watching their son, the dad was, and he fell asleep, or he was watching a basketball game or something and lost track of where his kid was, and found him in the pool
Dude, I would
dead.
never recover, dude.
I
It'd be
know.
over for me.
Yeah.
It'd be fucking over.
I don't know why I brought that up, but it just made me think about how, like, in a split second, your kid can literally.
Dude, well, she just
So
started
quick.
opening doors too, so I'm getting
know,
used to it.
dude.
I wasn't even thinking about her opening a front door.
Mhm.
Let
Dude,
alone.
I have the most insane intrusive thoughts all the time. Like, you said it earlier, Colin, where you just like think about like, oh, well, what if she does that and then this happens? I just think about stuff like that all the time, and just I don't know. I guess that's a normal thing for a dad to just like
Yeah.
play out these horrible situations. I think you were at my house one time and you were walking down the stairs. You're thinking about like, what if like she slipped out of my arm and like fell off the side of the railing or whatever. Like,
It's just it's
Well, with all these.
never ending.
yeah.
No.
Those thoughts, yeah. All right, so got on a little bit of a tangent, but we want to wrap this up and bring this thing home. So let's go ahead and do a rapid fire segment. All of us are just going to give a real brief one thing you would tell a friend who's about to bring a baby home for the first time. Who wants to kick us off?
I'll start.
All right.
Good luck ever sleeping again.